The Israeli High Court of Justice rejected a petition today to cancel an eviction order against the Bedouin West Bank village of Khan Al-Ahmar. Further, the village was ruled to be demolished as soon as next week. Now, Israeli authorities argued that the residents built in Khan Al-Ahmar were built illegally and without permits, and too close to the highway, and that they failed to come to an agreement with the government regarding relocation despite 9 years of fighting with the state. Well, the issue is still being flung to the forefront of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict following more settlement expansion, the nation-state law, and other actions taken by Israeli leadership that at best are seen as counterproductive to peace. Joining me now with more is the director of the International Division at Regavim, Naomi Kahn. Naomi, thank you for being here with us. All right, so my first question to you is, what's your initial reaction to this eviction notice and the demolition order?
Well, the eviction notice is not new. The eviction notices were actually issued 9 years ago when the first petition was submitted by Regavim and residents of the community of Kfar Adumim. We're clearly in favor. We were one of the petitioners in that original petition, and we've been following the process ever since. The question here is it's a complex matter. The original petition and the pursuant petitions are not anti-Bedouin, they're not anti-Arab. They are, in terms of, they are pro-law and order. They are pro making some sort of sense out of what's happening on the ground, and they are an attempt to stop a very clear, calculated program initiated by the Palestinian Authority and funded by the European Union to create facts on the ground and essentially illegally take over land in Area C.
Well, okay, but this group of 120-something families who are living in Khan Al-Ahmar, they were moved there originally. That was not their choice to be moved there. They were moved there in the 1950s.
Not exactly. In the 1950s, an inter-tribal blood feud broke out down in the Negev in the Arad region, where the Jahalin Bedouin, the rest of the clan, still resides. The weaker parts of the family were pushed out, and they migrated northwards to the Judean desert area that they're presently in. Like Bedouin all over the world, they were nomadic or semi-nomadic, and the first actual permanent structure that was created in this area was not created by the Bedouin. It was built by an Italian NGO, Vento de Terra. It was the school at Khan Al-Ahmar. The Bedouin were in fact put there, but they were put there by the Palestinian Authority and the Europeans who are funding this kind of activity in order to actually take control of this very, very strategic point. So it wasn't the Israelis who put them there, it was the Palestinians. Now, this is a very weak, very underprivileged, very vulnerable community, and they're being used very, very cynically by forces much larger than themselves. Well,
but then this kind of opens up some other questions, because you're saying, okay, they were put there by the Palestinian Authority, and they also are claiming that actually they had permission from the Palestinians who owned that property to be there. In addition,
that claim was only raised for the first time in the last round of Supreme Court hearings. It had never been raised before. They have never made any claim that they were anything but, that the construction was anything but illegal, and they had never claimed that they had any ownership of any kind of this land. This is very, very new claims, and the Supreme Court, in its decision today, actually more or less threw these claims out and said, 9 years and 4 rounds and now 5 rounds of Supreme Court hearings. No one's ever brought up this issue. This is clearly another stalling tactic.
So. All right, well, I want to thank you, first of all, for coming in and sharing more details with us on that. Unfortunately, obviously, this is not the end of the story. And it's a much larger conversation. A lot more needs to be discussed. Thank you so much, Naomi, for coming in.
Thank you.